So many times in the past, I would derail my weight loss progress because I was trying to be perfect with my diet. Eventually, I realized that trying to be perfect never really helped me. Instead, it just set me up to fail over and over again. So, in this video, I want to go over why trying to be perfect held me back and also what I started to do to help me start making real progress. So here's how it usually would go. I would get to the point where I wanted to lose weight fast. So I would go find a diet that was really strict or extreme that would whip me into shape as fast as possible. I would cut my calories way back. I would set up rules about when and how much I was allowed to eat. And because I labeled foods as either good or bad, I would create a list of the foods that I was allowed to eat and the ones that I wasn't allowed to eat. And of course, I'd always start the diet on a Monday so that I could spend the weekend binging on the foods that I wasn't allowed to have anymore, just so I could get them out of my system, which never really worked. Once I started the diet, sticking to it was all about willpower because it was so different than the way I was used to eating. And the problem with willpower is that it decreases over time. So eventually the willpower would give out and I would end up cheating on the diet. And because the diet was so restrictive, the cheats generally weren't small. They typically were fairly big. Once I cheated, even a little bit, I felt like I messed up, like I failed, and I would just beat myself up so much. And because I'm an emotional eater, I would just binge eat the rest of the day, and I would tell myself that I'll just start again tomorrow. The problem was there were a lot of tomorrows. I would turn a small indulgence into a really big one, and I did this year after year. And the reason this was happening was because I was trying to be perfect. So, what does being perfect mean to me? Well, it's eating exactly what I plan to eat in the amounts that I plan to eat them. And to do that day after day. And trying to be perfect on a heavily restricted diet was constantly derailing my progress because it wasn't something that I could stick to long term. What it meant was that I was just bound to fail. And when I look back on that, I think to myself, what was I doing? There were so many things that I was doing wrong. So here's what I did to stop trying to be perfect and to start making real progress. First, I got rid of all the crazy diets. I started thinking about things like portion control, mindful eating, ways to start changing my eating habits. Instead of looking for a quick fix diet, I started thinking about how can I create a lifestyle of eating that I could stick to long term. I realized by doing this, I might not get that quick, fast weight loss at the beginning, but instead I would get long-term, lasting results with something that I could stick to for years. And I have a lot of videos on my channel talking about these topics. I will put some links in the description below. I started to focus on the fact that a small indulgence is not a complete failure. I mean, just because I get a little bit off track doesn't mean I need to speed up the train and crash it into a wall. Instead, I just need to guide it back on the track. So I started getting back on track faster. I don't use a small indulgence as an excuse to just continue eating. Remember, weight loss is something that happens over time. So little extra small indulgences here and there during the week really won't make that much of a difference if you're generally on track the rest of the week. Also, I realized I needed to stop beating myself up so much. Eating too much or having a small indulgence doesn't mean that you're weak, that you're a failure, or that you need to beat yourself up. So I just started making it less emotional. It became more like, oh, okay, I ate a little more than I wanted to at that meal, or I had that snack, so where else can I cut back to get myself back on track? And I also stopped labeling food as good or bad. I mean, yes, there are certain foods that you can eat that are going to be healthier for you, and then other ones that might not be as healthy, but they taste really good. I mean, we're not robots, we're human, so it's okay to indulge every once in a while, to eat that food that tastes good, that might not be the healthiest choice. Now, I will eat the foods that I used to consider to be banned, but not all the time. Instead, I take the time to select when I'm going to have them. I will have them in a smaller portion, and I will take the time to really enjoy them. And most of the time, I will work them into my daily calories. And finally, stop trying to be perfect. It really will set you up to fail. Not everything always goes to plan. So the key is to be flexible and to allow yourself that flexibility. Some days you might be more on track with your plan than other days, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those days are better. The important thing is to know that there will be ups and downs, and that's okay, that's normal. And the key is to make sure that the trend is moving in the right direction. Perfection kept me stuck for years, but when I finally let it go, that's when I started making progress. So let go of trying to be perfect and give yourself a chance to start making real progress. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I had to say, click the like button, subscribe, remember to stay active, and I'll see you in the next video.